Hey there coworkers, it's Haz here, and today we'll talk about one of the hardest stages of Salmon Run, why exactly do freelance players struggle on it a lot, and how I think you can drastically improve your chances at winning on it, and this stage is Spawning Grounds. In general, I think the majority of players dislike Spawning Grounds because of the grates on it that reduce mobility a lot and make one side really hard to approach, along with some really nasty flyfish spawns. But while I agree that they are making the stage harder, I think the main reason it's so difficult for many is something that still gets massively ignored every single shift, and that is the basket area. On every single Salmon Run map, the basket is in a relatively safe position, far away from salmon it spawns, or it's somewhere the team can always see and easily watch over. And so the basket getting overrun isn't as big of a problem on, let's say, Sockeye Station, since it's far in the back. On Spawning Grounds, it is different, as not only are some of the spawns extremely close to the basket, especially if we're looking at the high tide spawn locations, but the map layout is also made in a way that most of the new hordes spawning aren't really visible until they are already close to the basket, unless of course the team goes out of their way to overlook on those specific shores. Naturally, what most of us like to focus on is what we see, and so when freelance coworkers either rush to the dock area or the shores opposite of the grates, as these are the two spawn locations that you see already from the get-go and what threats there are there. And this is somewhat normal, it's easier to focus on something you do see. But like I mentioned earlier, this leaves a huge gap in the defenses through salmonids easily breaking through towards the basket area, resulting in a completely overrun middle part of the stage very quickly, which snowballs fast into a lost shift due to not having enough space to secure the area properly. So as TLDR, the biggest problem with Spawning Grounds is that most teams simply abandon the basket area and do not protect it as much as they should, and it's the main cause for most defeats on the stage. Fortunately, the fix is pretty simple, and what I suggest to everyone struggling here is to practice staying near the basket more and keep the area as clean as possible throughout all the waves. This means focusing more on splitting scrappers, flipper floppers, drizzlers, but especially lesser salmonids. Lesser salmonids are usually ignored already, but on Spawning Grounds, their threat is multiplied through the smaller basket area, and they can easily ruin your games, despite how easily they can be splatted. So remember to splat more lesser salmonids. Being good at Spawning Grounds is essentially exactly the opposite of what I recommend on Marooner's Bay, where the trick to succeed is leaving the basket area and making sure you're holding the middle part of the ship so you don't get stuck. Whereas on Spawning Grounds, one or two coworkers should constantly keep the basket area clean and make sure there's always space for the whole team to retreat to, as if you lose the middle, it's pretty much over. Spawning Grounds isn't necessarily that harder of a stage compared to the others, it's just that you have to think differently on each map and adjust your playstyle to their strengths and weaknesses, as just like the rest of Salmon Run, there isn't an ultimate playstyle that fits all. Hope this tip will help you all in the future and the video was helpful. As usual, if you have any questions or further tips on the topic, please leave a comment under the video, as I'm pretty sure they help everyone who just reads through this section. If you like Salmon Run and Splatoon, consider subscribing, as well as my channel is full of resources to help you enjoy the game more, along with live streams where I also answer all kinds of questions. Thank you for watching everyone, take care, and I'll see you the next time.